Now let's go over our attacks tab. If you've never sent an attack before, the screen is going to look like this. It's going to say the client name is ready to start credit repair. Get started by running our dispute engine. In order to activate the dispute engine, you have to hit this drop down right here, and then you'll see the attack types. And then once you click inside of an attack type, you'll see the attack versions. So let's get into the details of these, what each different attack type is. So a nerve attack attacks every single last item on the credit report that you selected in the filter, right? So if you selected 5 inquiries and you had 6 bankruptcies and 5 accounts, everything associated with Experian is going to be on that letter. Everything associated with Equifax will be on that letter. Everything associated with TransUnion will be on that letter. A pinwheel attack is similar to the nerve attack. So you'll have everything on the letter on one page as well, but you're going to have limitations. So if you have somebody with, say, 37 inquiries, instead of putting them on one attack, it's going to separate them by tens, right? So you'll have one, let's say you had 37 inquiries on Experian. Then what's going to occur is you're going to have a 10 on one, 10 on another, 10 on a third, 7 on the last one. You are not charged any differently for using these attacks, by the way. Let's just get that clear. Whether you use a nerve attack, a pinwheel, punch of fury, round click, or paralyzing touch point, the price is still, at the moment, $17. Static letters are 100% free as long as you have credits in the system. The punch of fury, this separates each attack by type. So it creates a letter for each type. So you're going to have a personal information letter. You're going to have a letter for inquiries. You're going to have a letter for bankruptcies, and you're going to have a letter for everything else. So you're going to have at least 4 letters for TransUnion as long as you have the negatives there. Case in point, for somebody who does not have bankruptcies, you're just going to have possibly 3 letters for TransUnion. If you do not challenge inquiries, then you're just going to have a personal information letter and an accounts letter. So it's also smart logic as well. The pinwheel attack will downgrade to a nerve attack if you don't have enough negatives for it. So say you have somebody who only has 9 inquiries and 5 negative accounts, then it will say pinwheel attack, but the smart logic is going to downgrade it and put everything on one piece of paper. And I'll show you some examples. Punch of fury, and we just covered that. Your round kick is similar to the punch of fury, but with the limitations, right? So if you have somebody, once again, with 37 inquiries or 36 inquiries, then you're going to have 3 letters just for inquiries because you're only going to cover 9 each. If you have somebody with 10 collections, right, 10 collections on Experian, then you're going to have 2 Experian letters for the collections. If you have somebody with bankruptcies, you'll have your bankruptcy letter and so on and so forth. So just think your round kick is the same as the punch of fury, except you're going to get more letters because it's breaking things up. Paralyzing touch point, you'll have a letter for every single last thing that you create. All right. Let's get into the versions, attack versions, since we know what the types are. The attack versions. The regular one is just a regular plain Jane letter with red as for the account name. Premium has a Panda highlight. I'm going to show you some examples of premium as well. Supreme is an addition to the premium. So you're going to have the Panda highlight, and then you're going to have the Metro 2 logic on top of the table. You're going to have the Metro 2 logic calling below, and Supreme Boosted is a combination of all 3 of these, where you're going to have the table, you're going to have the circle from the Supreme, you're going to have the Metro 2 logic on the table from the Supreme, and you're also going to have additional attack vectors below the account as well. So it's going to challenge between 3 to 6 of those things. Okay, so one thing I wanted to go back and explain is why only 5 attack types? Why only these 5? Well, Dispute Panda AI ensures that you're not using cookie cutter factual or cookie cutter software or cookie cutter Metro 2 templates. And it changes every word with every letter. This means you can use the same nerve attack over and over and over again and still be effective. Whereas other systems and softwares use the same template. And this is why they have to create new letters every year, because the old templates are no longer effective. Back in the day, everyone was sending the 609 letter. It stopped working, right? The same thing happens with Metro 2 challenges or any other factual challenge. Just like you won't send the word verified or validate this or this is not mine over and over again to expect results, you cannot expect to send the same Metro 2 verbiage over and over and over again as well. So we only need 5 different attacks because the verbiage in Dispute Panda's AI changes every time. So the credit bureaus cannot say that you get less and less frivolous responses and you'll get more positive responses because we're not using cookie cutter templates. Also, after testing this for a year, running thousands of credit reports through the system, these 5 attack types reign supreme. So we are constantly testing different variations and looks of this, which will have no impact on you as a customer. But we noticed that 7 negatives and 10 inquiries did better than 10 negatives and 12 inquiries. We tested these things. So based off our data, these 5 give us and the client the greatest chance of results. Now, why 4 different versions of attacks? Well, the different versions are, there's no Metro 2 logic on the regular nerve attack, and there's no Metro 2 logic on the premium attack. However, they do give a different look. So because our AI changes the words all the time, you have built-in dispute flows by using a different version. The Supreme and Supreme Boosted will add the Metro 2 logic and the Metro 2 logic on top of the table. Even though we're still doing compliance challenges with all of these, we're giving the credit bureaus different looks and feels, so they're not seeing the same letter over and over again. So if the words change, then how the letter looks change as well, depending on which one of these you use. Let's also get into static letters. Now, what is a static letter? So static letters are template letters that you might find in your regular software from credit repair. You're going to see your debt validation letter, right? So if a debt collector sends your client something in the mail, you want to make sure that they have the capacity or the ability to collect on that debt, you send a debt validation letter. If you're trying to set the credit bureaus up to sue them and you don't want the collection agency to communicate with your client, you can send a cease and desist and refusal to pay. If the credit bureaus did not respond to an attack in the last 30 days or so, you can send a failure to respond. The personal information letter is if you need to update the personal information for that particular person. You can send a simple letter instead of sending a long drawn out thing. A reinsertion is if something was to pop back up on the credit report, you can resend a reinsertion letter if they didn't notify your client within 5 days. Your method of verification, if something comes back verified, in addition to your attack, you can send a method of verification letter to have the credit bureaus prove how they verified the data was accurate. And then you have a few secondary credit bureaus that assist with removal of bankruptcies, child support, and things like that. LexisNexis, Innovis, LCI, and ARS. And of course, in the future, this static letter template will expand based off your recommendations also. Well, once again, static letters are 100% free and they never pull from your credit system at all. So just keep that in mind. As long as you have credits in the system, you can come in and send any of these static letters, so you're not getting charged additional money just to do some things to help out your client.